All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Harbor Discussions. This is the host, John. We are here for the 27th interview, I believe. I'm in here today with M-16 the Great. Please say the Great.
Yes, yes.
He is an artist from California. First of all, shout out to Elle Boogie. She is the manager and creative director for CODMG. She
hmm
reached out to me for setting up this podcast. And quickly, I just wanted you to kind of explain what she does, how she's been helpful to you in your career and whatnot.
It's probably easier to say what she doesn't do, man. She's very supportive. Like you said, she reaches out. She's very attentive. She's very just I don't know, man. It's a lot of different things, different ways I could describe her as an asset. She's actually the president of CODMG, which is a West Coast based independent record label right now. We also have an artist actually from Maryland
Okay,
as
cool.
well. Yeah, yeah.
What's
But
that artist's name?
yeah, his name is Joey Bones.
Okay,
Yeah, we definitely want to set up something for you guys in the future where when he's locked up right now, but when he come home and everything.
free him.
Yeah, free Joey Bones. But yeah, man, she just does everything, make sure everything moves smoothly, professional, keeps us on task, keeps us punctual. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different things.
Absolutely. And
It's not a game.
quickly promote your listening platforms for your music and where people can find you on social media.
Yeah, man, I'm on everything is M16. The letter M, the number 16, THEGREAT. That's across the board, man. Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, everything. You can find M16 the Great, all my music there. It's a pretty extensive catalog.
Definitely, definitely. And you on all social medias?
Yes, yeah, I'm on everything except TikTok, but we do have a Cash on Demand music group is on TikTok. The
Okay.
logo. So yeah, they on there, but yeah, I'm not on TikTok, but everything else, yeah, pretty much. I'm even on what's that new one they got?
I think I know what you're talking about. It's like the new Twitter, right? That
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Even that
forget.
one.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so we'll get a quick personal background. From what I understand, you're from the Inland Empire of California,
Yes,
specifically the
sir.
south side of Fontana, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, so if you could just describe more in depth what the area you grew up in was like and what your overall upbringing was like, kind of from a child to a young adult.
Um, well, the thing, a lot of times people get confused with California because California is a beautiful place. You know what I'm saying? So like, you get here, you'll be like, oh, it's so nice and da 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 da, and you kind of find yourself in a sticky situation because you're just what I'm saying, mesmerized by the looks and the houses and
Of
the
course.
trees. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you find yourself in other people's territory that's very dangerous. You feel
Mm,
me?
yeah.
So that's big in Southern California. It's a very beautiful place. Homes are nice, everything. I remember I have a lot of people from out of town that come to California and be like, yo, y'all hoods don't look like hoods. It's like, yeah, they're hoods. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Definitely.
you know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous. It's very misleading. But coming from Fontana, when I first moved to Fontana, I ain't really my mom moved me from LA just to pretty much relocate me from like the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Then we moved to Fontana thinking it was gonna be different and bullshit is everywhere. So we end up getting into normal little shit, young kid shit, gang shit, drugs, all that type of things. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to kill time getting into stuff.
Yeah.
And then as I grew, just everything else grew. The mentality, everything that we was getting into, it just just grew as we grew in age, and we started taking things a little more serious, and things starting to get a little more tricky.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I love Fontana. I love IE. I love California. It's a beautiful place. I learned a lot about being a man, just being a human. You know what I'm saying? From here, you know what I'm saying? I witnessed a lot of beautiful things. I witnessed a lot of horrible things, but I feel like the beauty outweighs the negative. So,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I was wondering what makes the IE different from like other well-known areas of California.
um, for me, um, for me, what makes the IE different is because it's it's like, man, so imagine you live in like like explain like we don't have project, but it's like the project. Imagine you live like in the projects, right?
Yeah.
But across the street it's a mansion.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you so close to shit and then you get into shit, people break, you know what I'm saying? Cause but so it's like the inspiration is there, but it's all in your mentality. Do you take it as inspiration or do you take it as, man, I'll never get that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's kind of like a mind fuck in a way, but it depends on how you interpret it mentally. Um Besides that, it's naturally meant. It was. I feel like it was naturally created to be for families, to raise families, to do. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
To really, set your family shit down, and it just turned into other shit as more people came, different like backgrounds came. It just turned into other shit. Now, i.e., now is more a place for the industry, like industrial shit now. But when we were younger, it was more like you have lifelong friendships, shit like that, and then you know so it was more like a place really to raise your family at first, and then you know how that is when you have those communities, people get into shit, man. You ever seen, you seen Euphoria? You
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
know what I'm
Rest in
saying?
rest in peace to Angus Cloud.
Yes,
That
rest
was
in peace.
horrible to hear, man.
Man, that was really fucked up when I heard that, because I was like, damn, I thought he was supposed to be playing Mac Miller.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody always compared the two alike and stuff. And I was telling my friend this every time I wake up and I see an article like that, I never believe it at first. I gotta go and look it up on Google, and then it's just like, damn,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
another one. It's
man.
terrible.
Yeah, that's definitely heartbreaking. But yeah, to basically to break it down, like, yeah, the IE is just, it's a place to raise your family, but you gotta keep your head on the swivel because it's California. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, I don't really want to. I'm not trying to put it out there like for people that's not from here to be like, oh, California. It's not like that. It's just I'm basically just, I want people to know, like, because people come out here thinking it's like the movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like the movies. You feel me? And I don't want people to like get themselves in a situation because they think it's like the movies. You
Right.
know?
I feel you. I'm about 45 minutes out from Baltimore, and there's all sorts of stuff you hear about in the news and whatnot, and it's pretty similar in a way. And where I live, it's like I live in a sort of nicer part, but right down the block is some of the badder
Exactly.
parts and stuff like that. But no, Baltimore gets a pretty bad rap altogether. But as long as you're kind of doing something like going to a show or just minding your business, really, nobody's gonna bother you. It's like you said, all the stories, all the movies, all the stuff you see on TV kind of dilutes all the good stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, because Baltimore, that it has its own type of culture and energy. The whole DMV in general, they have their own type of culture and energy as
Absolutely.
creatives. You feel me? Like, they're a little more creative. It's like they have the how do I explain it? They have like the vibe of the South, but they have that East Coast creativity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
and lyricism, like they know how to put shit together like a New York artist, but they have that energy that the South brings,
for
So I
sure.
think it's beautiful. And then, and you think,
Abs-
when you talk about Virginia, you got Pusha T, you got, you know, um, Timberland, Missy, so many legends, Pharrell. So it's like the DMV is very, you know, powerful creatively, but it's like people sleep on it.
oh, definitely, definitely. And that's what my whole show is about, really, is to kind of, uplift because I feel like a lot of the big music platforms are West Coast related, or you
Mhm.
see them in the bigger states like New York and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely DMV slept on.
Yeah, it's
Um,
beautiful, beautiful too. I like the green. It's a lot of green.
yeah, a whole lot of trees and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, yeah. I love that.
Definitely. So you were already kind of talking about how California is a very beautiful place. There's been a lot of recent headlines and discussions about how some of the quality of life, I guess, more in the cities of California has gone down because of crime, homeless, and addiction crises sort of rising. Is
Hmm.
is this something
Hmm.
that you've been able to see, and does it affect you? Do you ever see yourself relocating, or will California always be home?
California will always be home, but that's basically that's what I was trying to like explain. Like, it's one of those things. It's like, um, yeah, people gotta keep your head on a swivel because California, it's expensive. They try to they're trying to gentrify a lot of places that aren't meant to be gentrified. You feel me?
Yeah.
And they don't realize that people starving, people are hungry. So it's like, yeah, you might put a Starbucks here, and just because it's a Starbucks here, people think, oh, well, it's a Starbucks there, let me go there. But then when they end up getting robbed or shot, or you know what I'm saying, it's like, who can you really blame? You can't blame. This is the same community. This community's been operating the way it's been operating for years. You feel me? You
Yeah.
just thought that you could put something here and it'll change the way shit been. It's like, yo, you can't put, you know what I'm saying? It's like putting a baby in a tiger pen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh-huh.
what do you think a tiger gonna do? It's gonna chew that motherfucker up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
a lot of times they put people, they put us in positions where it's like, yo, man, it's either sink or swim. So it's like a lot of us is gonna swim, some of us is gonna sink. I definitely don't go for crashing out, because that's what we call it, like crashing out when
Uh-huh.
motherfuckers be.
Crash dummies, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I don't really condone that, but I understand I understand where it comes from. I know the mentality. I grew up in that mentality, so I understand what it is. But everybody do things differently. Other people target, like us, we target our energy in the music and trying to get into the entertainment business. Other people target their energy in the street shit. But if you ever been in the streets, you know the outcome of that. It's only two ways with the street shit.
Yep. Definitely. So the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about in regards to some of your personal background is I heard you talking about, working some other jobs and stuff, regular jobs, and
Hmm.
you talked about how they would always put you in kind of a depressive place, and you never stayed there long because it was like you felt like you were kind of signing yourself up to like a form of slavery, and you just never felt like it was for you.
Hmm.
And firstly, I wanted to talk about that depressed place that you get to when you're working at a place that you don't want to.
Hmm.
Cause I think that's something that, that place that you get put in, do you think that it's necessary to be like truly successful? Like, do real hustlers have to be in environments that they don't want to so that they can climb out of them?
Damn, that's a good ass question. Are we talking about like in the hustle aspect or working?
You could do it to both,
Do
but
both. So
I
like um a true hustler gonna do what he gotta do to survive. I mean, not survive, do what he gotta do to put himself in a better position. That's what a hustler does, right? It's never about survival, it's about, like growth. We all about growth. That's how I look at it, right? So it's like if sometimes to grow, you might have to go to another place, deal with other people, and it's never gonna be easy, it's never gonna be comfortable. And when you do that, you gotta soak up all the game you could get. You gotta really observe what's going on and how people are moving. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only way you can really thrive and grow whatever you're trying to grow at the moment. So I definitely feel like, yeah, you have to be in a uncomfortable state for you to grow, because it's gonna do two things. Your name is gonna grow, and your wisdom. It's all about knowledge, man. Like little cliche shit like knowledge is power, but
uh-huh.
they don't say that for no reason.
Yeah,
So it's like you got to know knowledge of life and knowledge of the game. So sometimes you got to put yourself in different situations, like you know what I'm saying, like to really mentally upgrade yourself in your situation. So I do definitely feel like you got to be in uncomfortable positions if you're trying to take it to a certain level, and if you see yourself expanding to something. Far as
definitely.
jobs and the depression part, I don't think everybody's that way. I think it's just me, because as a creative and as a person that like has certain ambitions, um, yeah, it affects me. And everybody had some people are like that. You feel me? Like you could be a person that write books, and a job could depress you because you wish you could be at home writing your book. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody's different. I'm not against jobs, because I've always been a person that if I take a L and I need to get back on my feet, I'm gonna get on my feet.
Yeah.
And if it's holiday season, and everybody know, man, when the holiday season, everybody they hiring everybody.
Oh yeah.
Background checks, no nothing. They trying to get everybody. So it's like when that holiday season come, you got a good 3 months of a check, man. Do that, flip that, put that into wherever you're trying to take, and then boom, go from there. But that's usually how I am when it comes to jobs. Jobs never really last long, because I don't know. I really don't like um people with power trips. It's not even like I love to listen. I love to learn. So it's not that I don't like listening to people. It's like I don't like people with power trips. So sometimes when you work a job, your supervisor, they feel like because they're your supervisor, they're your, you know what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh. Oh,
they
yeah.
own you or they're like they're your boss. I feel like the word boss very is very you know what I'm saying? It's like it's hard to just because you are the person who signed my check, you ain't my boss. That's just how I think.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
like if I allow you to be my boss, then you my boss, and that's your own perspective. If you allow people to disrespect you, put you in a, you know what I'm saying, put you in a predicament. Like if someone was like, you be like, yo, I got to go do this for my family, and they be like, no, you're not gonna do it, and you decide to be like, all right, then that's your boss. But if someone tell you I got to do this, and well, you're not gonna do it, and you be like, well, fuck you. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's not your boss. He's just the person that signed your check at the time. So it's all in your sorry, it's all in your mentality and your thoughts on it. But yeah, like and it's not just a job, man. Anytime I feel like I'm not being proactive or you know what I'm saying, being focused, anytime I lose focus or I feel like I'm not doing working towards my purpose and my goal, yeah, I get depressed. It's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, man, especially recently I had an injury.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, a little bit
Okay,
later.
yeah. But
Um,
I'm saying, yeah, I've definitely felt it. So
of course. So I heard that you were working a warehouse job at one point and you had a
mm.
lady there. She inspired you to do I just want the money. I was curious what that warehouse job was because I work in a warehouse currently.
Oh shit. Where did you get this information? You like what's his name?
Narwar.
Yeah, you like Marwar, like who the fuck? How'd you know that shit?
I want to say it was a podcast I listened to.
You
It
are
was from a couple years ago, but
okay,
yeah.
you do this shit for sure. Yeah, man. What warehouse was that? It was one of those holidays. It was a long time. Like I want to say like fresh out of high school type thing, right?
Damn, okay.
And yeah, she was just loud, bro. She was like one of them chicks at the warehouse that's just loud.
Uh-huh.
And she just like, you know, like every time they would tell her to do something, she'd be like, you don't pay me enough. Like she just had that type of personality. And I just remember like looking at her like, damn, I feel her. You feel me? Like I felt what she
Yeah.
was on. You feel me? But it was like, but this is where we at right now. And I remember you know, later down like years later, like I don't know how I came across her again. I was like, oh, that's the chick from the warehouse.
Yeah, I think it was Snapchat if I'm correct.
Yeah, not was it? It probably was.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. And I came across her, and then she was like, that was her campaign, and I
Yeah.
was like, damn, fuck with that. And I just reached out, and I was like, yo, we went to, you know, because at the time when I was working the warehouse, I would sell CDs at the warehouse, so
Yeah, okay.
people at the warehouse knew who I was, and they heard my music. So she remembered that. She was like, oh yeah, I still got your CD. That shit hard. I was like, yo, I want to do an album inspired by, you know what I'm saying, by you and your phrase because I don't know, it just inspired me. And she
Yeah.
was like, hell yeah. Like whatever you need, make it happen. And then that's what happened. We just went from there. And then I think that was one of my most like that was kind of like at the time, that was one of my most successful tapes. And it kind
Nice.
of changed and it brought me to the light a little more. More people started to fuck with me and it made me really take the music a little more serious in my approach.
I
More
gotcha. What was the job like itself? What were you doing in this
Man, that shit was
warehouse?
hard. That shit was horrible. We used to pick orders. You know what picking orders is?
Uh-huh. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we just pick orders and you had to do like a stupid amount in an hour. I think it was like you had to do like 200 in an hour or something. It was
Yep.
just dumb. Like I hated that shit. When we had to be there overtime, it was automatic like mandatory overtime. It was like a bunch of this. Yeah, it was trash, but the bread was kind of good at the time. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
Yeah, man. That's the thing. It's like I know exactly what it's like working in a warehouse right now, but I wouldn't have these microphones. I wouldn't have none of this if I wasn't working a job. So
man,
that's where it can come into handy. But I feel like a lot of people like they start to lose sight of their passion and get too focused, too comfortable at that job. You know, that's
oh,
something you
that's
can't do.
that's the thing. It's like, yo, when I used to work warehouse, I use that and I go to the studio, I do, you know what I'm saying? Like what you're doing is the prime example of what you utilize a job for. Like use
Exactly.
that shit to better your situation. And invest in your shit. Cause I'm looking at your shit like you got a lot of shit. You feel me? So
I appreciate that. Yeah,
that's
man.
the
I definitely, this is what I am going to do one day. You know,
yeah.
it's all about
You're doing it.
language too. I learned it's about language too. It's like a lot of people they say, I want to do this. Like you have to. That's the thing.
Nah,
It's
you gotta speak that shit into existence, bro. You gotta own that shit. You can't just be like, oh, one day or this. Nah, bro, I'm gonna do this.
oh
I'm
yeah,
doing it. You know what I'm saying? This is who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like when people try to play people and be like, oh, your little thing, oh, I heard your little album or I seen
little
your little
nothing.
podcast. Yeah, like this shit ain't little. Like this is what I'm doing. You feel me? So
Guaranteed. Yeah. So do you still work with that merch company? Or
which
is that I
nah,
just that was an old
that's
job?
nah, it was like it was actually a blessing, man. I remember I'm big on manifestations and things. And I remember I said I wanted to go on tour. At the time I had never been on tour and I was like, man, I want to go on tour. And at the time I was trying to make a lifestyle change as well. There was a lot of different shit that was going on. I was like, man, I want to just change, but I want to go on tour. A homie came to me was like, yo, I got an opportunity. You can go on tour, at least be able to learn the game. It ain't, it don't pay much, but it'll give you the it'll give you what you're looking for if that's really what you want. And me, I'm a person that's all about opportunity and experience and knowledge, like I said. So
Right.
I was like, yeah, whatever. I just want to be on the road. I want to know what it's like. So yeah, I did that. I think I want to say for 2 years,
All right,
and,
cool.
that's, and that shit was all I was doing. It was like consistent. The bread, terrible. I didn't make really a lot of money, but I made a lot of connections, and I learned a lot. Like you can't put a price on how much I learned from those experiences. But then when COVID came, it was over, and I never went back since the COVID.
I got you. Now, for people who want to know that you were basically helping out with the merchandise and whatnot, what
I
kind
was
of
selling.
yeah,
I
what
was selling.
concerts and stuff like that were you able to work at? What were some of your best experiences over that
All of
couple
our clients
years?
were all of our clients were big. So I was with like Bone Thugs.
Mm.
Um, I was with Bone Thugs, Snoop Dogg, 36 Mafia, Insane Clown Posse,
Woo.
DJ Quick, Trey the Truth. It was just a lot of different. It was a lot of big guys. Oh, George Lopez,
Oh shit. Okay.
uh, Zendaya.
So it was outside of music too, with like George Lopez. You were doing
Yeah, yeah,
comedians, other things like that.
yeah, yeah. Definitely Journey. I've done a lot of shows with a lot of different.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely getting a broad.
Yeah, and then you learn about the ins and outs of what it is. A lot of people don't know the power of merch and how important merch is. I know now from being from those experiences.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying on one of your videos how like there's times where you'd make more from the merch than you would from like the tickets and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
I've seen it firsthand.
yeah, anybody listening, I'm working on my own merch at the moment, so definitely gotta, and that's where you can like, because I'm making it a brand with the merch.
Hmm.
It's kind of you can fit like the ideas of your brand, your label, your podcast, whatever, and you can, make it
Yeah,
more than
merch right here.
hell yeah. Yeah, I love merch jerseys. It's like I'm
Yeah,
weak for that. Every time I'm like at a concert and the band's got like basketball, hockey jersey, I'm like, ooh, instant.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, you gotta have with the merch. It's like it's a walking billboard. You feel
Yeah.
me? So it's very important. So like for you, like even if it's your homies, if they wearing your shirt and it say whatever, and they gonna be like, "Yo, what's that?" If they like it, they gonna inquire about it, and then your shit grow on its own. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's why when it came to the design of my merch, I'm making it kind of not related to the podcast, but related to the things that my podcast is based around because it's one of them things people are going to look at and go, "Oh, that's a cool shirt. Where is that from?" And then they're going to go, "Oh, it's from this podcast," and they'll be like, "Oh, really?" Because I mostly interview hardcore punk bands and stuff like that. So it's basically going to be a shirt centered around like a local punk crew kind of thing. So anybody in the area is going to be drawn to the shirt immediately, even if they don't
Yeah.
listen to the podcast. Um, so aside from working with the merch company and the warehouse, what are just some other jobs that you've worked in the past?
Um, that's pretty much it. I
Okay.
did security when I was younger a little bit. far as jobs goes, so, yeah,
I gotcha. Now we'll get into your musical background. I
yeah.
understand you're inspired by some of the best, like Big, Jay Z, Nipsey Hussle, Barry Gordy, and Lil Wayne. When you were younger, where were you getting your information, and where were you hearing about artists and stuff like that? Who around you was inspiring your music taste?
My mom,
Okay,
it was really whatever she listened to. I kind of like fed off of what she was playing, and then as I grew, I started listening to like what my uncles would be playing, and then my cousins, and then it just kind of grew from there. And then I started buying my own shit. I remember I bought like Shaq's album. I think that was like the first thing I bought. Um,
okay,
and then when I bought that, I was like, shit, I'm about to just start buying shit I want. You
hell
know,
yeah.
and I started getting into different, what I'm saying, musical tastes. Like I was late to a lot of shit because, like I said, I was basing it off people around me. So it's like I didn't hear about Nas and other shit until like later down the line because growing up, that's not what they were. You know what I'm saying? People around me
Yeah.
were listening to. They was listening to like Tupac, Ice Cube, shit like that.
And that was probably more or less when the West Coast, East Coast beef was more live and
Hmm.
active and stuff like that. People were really like, if you were on the West Coast, you were not rocking with the East Coast.
Nah, not that. Yeah, it wasn't fucking with the East Coast. Barely was fucking with the South. It was like West Coast or nothing, pretty much.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's gotten a lot better now?
Yeah, but I feel like it's better in the sense of the genre, but
Right.
it's worse for the West Coast because they don't have pride in their own shit. So it's like it went from having so much pride we don't fuck with nobody to having none. Like where it's like we fuck with everybody but us.
I got you. Yeah, I've kind of heard, because I listen to a lot of rap podcasts, stuff like that. That's
Hmm.
where a lot of my inspiration comes from. And I've heard California artists talking about how if you're from this region or this region from California, those regions don't work together. There's a whole lot of politics that could go into it.
Oh yeah, yeah, like the Bay and and that's the
Yep.
thing that's good being from the IE because we can fuck with whoever we want to because we don't give a fuck. We kind of like, like I would say like the Wu Tang, you know what I'm saying? Like we a whole nother thing. So it's like, yo, we don't give a fuck. We can fuck with who we want to and who fuck with us. If you don't fuck with us, hey, fuck you.
Definitely, definitely. And when it comes to more local artists, you were inspired by like Sugar Free and Hit Boy. Were
Yeah.
there artists locally, like on a smaller level, when you were a kid that you would look up to and that maybe put that battery into your back?
As a kid, nah. Um, I would say like as I grew up, I would see people do their thing, but I've always been a very like confident person. So it's like I never really looked at other people like you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but like when I was growing up doing it, I ain't look like, oh, I want to be like that. I was looking at it like, oh, they can't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha.
So
But
it'd be
also,
like,
was there not as big of a local rap
yeah,
scene?
it was a local, but it's like
Okay,
our shit is more competitive. So it's like
okay.
I guess you could say we were inspired because the competition was high.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and the IE is really we big on ciphers, lyrics, you know what I'm saying, show performance. Like you gotta know how to perform, you gotta have lyrics, you gotta be freestyle ready. So we'll do a lot of that.
absolutely. We'll get into that very shortly. Was there a specific moment that you can think back on when you were younger that basically cemented you as like I want to be an artist?
Yeah, when I seen Biggie on what video was that? I think it's the one Players Anthem or Get Money or something. I seen Biggie
Okay.
in the video with he had like a bunch of chicks in the bed with him, I think. Or it might have been Warning actually. And when I seen that, I was like, yo, whatever he doing, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I saw. Well, I'm kind of going off of a little bio that El Boogie gave me.
Yeah.
Some of your content is inspired by the West Coast street culture, and then like the affinity for a luxurious lifestyle, and
Mhm.
it that came from seeing Biggie and other artists as a kid, right? Because you would see
Yeah.
obviously Biggie was big with Coogee stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
So back then, was that kind of where you got the desire to be fly, flashy, all that stuff?
Hell yeah, man. Biggie and Puff Daddy and cash money, like, you know what I'm saying? No limit. It just was like so different from what, cause being from the West Coast, it was different. Like, cause I love West Coast music. That's my heart. But the imagery wasn't like what I was into. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, we had Lolos, which Lolos is fire, but they didn't dress as fly. Like, you know what I'm saying? The presentation wasn't eye catching for me. You feel
Right.
me?
Yeah.
So it didn't really fit what I was like, damn, something I would aspire to be, because it's like I already had that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the shit they had is like, okay, I already got that. I already. So it's like when you see some shit like motherfuckers in Rolls Royces and Lexus trucks, you like, oh shit, like where the fuck they doing that at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Rolex is like, it's just like, man, what? That's the type of shit, and even Tupac too, really was like fly, where you like, oh shit. But I was a big dude, so, or a big kid, so I didn't look at like, Tupac didn't really hit me because we don't look the same. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I get what you're
You know what I'm
saying.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's like when I seen Big doing it, and I just seen like the whole culture of just that fly shit, it just like really tapped in. And plus I had uncles and I had, cousins that was fly, doing fly shit. You know what I'm saying? Like more shit than rappers at that
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
it's like growing up, looking up to certain people, you like, shit, nigga, this the lifestyle I want. So yeah, that's where it really came from, just the whole lifestyle of it.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask, do you feel like people can get too into the culture when it comes to streets or luxury? And like how do you find a healthy mix?
Man, it ain't really a healthy mix when it come to anything street. You know what I'm saying? When it come to street, it's like it's either you gonna be in the street or you gonna be on the sidewalk. I feel like
Right.
people need to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of times people play with the streets, and
Yeah.
it's not nothing really to play with. You know what I'm saying? It's not really nothing to play with. But I think you just gotta know it's an end goal. Everything ends. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it like, and don't, as a kid, yeah, it's cool. You looking at it as cool, but once you really in this shit and you start seeing the outcome of shit, that cool, the little, oh, that shit was cool. It's not. It disappears fast. It dissolves fast, and you be like, man, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You really like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, yeah. I meant
Yeah.
with that and the luxury lifestyle and getting caught up with it. I meant more or less like it's definitely I think fine and it's good to have goals, aspirations. Like it's totally fine to be like I want to have a nice car one day. I want to have nice clothes one day. But do you feel like people get a little too caught up with the material stuff?
Oh yeah, I feel like, yeah, but because that's even with relationships too. Like, it's like you look at her because she cute, but then when you get down to it, it's like, what's real? So like, yeah, the luxury, once you get it, you realize like it really wasn't shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You as you get older, you realize, yo, what is your purpose? Like, what are you trying to get across? What do you know what I'm saying? Like, the most beautiful things are free, really.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? You be like, man, like seeing your kids grow up, or you know what I'm saying, being able to get a Christmas present for your mom or your dad, like little things. So it's like, yeah, at the beginning, everything looks good at the beginning, but as you grow, you're like, it really wasn't shit.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
people definitely get caught up in it. I feel like everybody get caught up in it. Everybody want, they want to live. Everybody want to live a life.
Of course. Yeah. And it's like getting it while you live is another thing too, because everybody knows that like life is short. You never know when you could die and things like that.
Oh yeah,
And it's a stressful thing because it's like you want to enjoy life while you're here, but you also want to prepare for your future. And I think a lot of people, especially at my age, I'm only 21, and I think a lot of us are just, we don't know how to balance that, because like everyone tells you, oh, you're in your 20s, you need to live more, stuff like that. But then at the same time, they're telling you, oh, prepare for your future, do this. So,
yeah,
and I think that goes right into being an artist and stuff like that. You gotta be able to find where you fit in and whatnot.
definitely.
So as far as where your sound comes from, it's like you said, you fit into more of the lyrical category and stuff like that. The bio I got said, your stuff can be comparable to the East Coast rap juggernauts like Conway the Machine. Now,
Mm.
Griselda has mentioned several times on this podcast. A lot of my friends and I, we get down to that. Do you feel like that they've gotten the recognition they deserve in the rap scene?
Yeah, I feel like for the type of music and sound that they have, they're doing incredible for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not on the radio. They don't make shit for the radio, and that's cool. They're successful without that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Far as like people talking about them, the legends respect them. The legends put them on a high regard. So it's like, who else really matters? To be honest, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I get that.
Because even people like Drake and like I think West Side Guns on Travis Scott's new album. So
Okay.
yeah, obviously like people know what they're about. You know what I'm saying? They do all the same interviews. I think they're on Jimmy Kimmel. They do all the same shit. So I think they definitely inspire me. Like where I was like at a point where I was like, man, I don't want to do this no more. And I seen them doing it, and I'm like, man, maybe I could just do it my own way and just stick to it. And that's when I changed. That's when I decided to really hone in on my sound because I respected how them being from Buffalo and they really capturing that East Coast sound where their shit sounds like Buffalo, it
Yeah.
sounds like New York. So I was like, well, maybe I need to do that on my own accord and really like, because I miss when you knew where artists was from because the sound they had.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's everybody sound like they from Atlanta, damn near.
Yeah, that's true. I see that in comment sections and stuff like that. People would be like, "He sounds like he's from here. He's from Cali, or he's from here."
Yeah,
Who are some of your other favorite modern artists and stuff like that?
man, I fuck with Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, the three-headed monster. I fuck with who else? Like yeah, West Side Gun, Benny. I fuck with Conway. I fuck with Sauce Walker. I fuck with man. There's so many people, honestly. But the thing, I'll be lying if I say I listen to people because as a creative, I create so much. Like I fuck with their music and their movement, but I don't listen to them because I never want to pollute my creativity by end up sounding like them or doing something similar. So it's like I fuck with what they do. I watch the music videos. I support their shit, but I don't really listen because I don't want that shit to like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't want it to drag over into your stuff. That happens a lot, especially like in the stand-up comedy space. You see a
Yeah,
lot of people go, "Oh, this guy's just imitating him." And yeah, a lot of people have to learn how to separate the influence from their own style and whatnot.
yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
times I feel like it's inevitable, like you're gonna repeat things that you've heard and stuff like that. But I think as long as you're giving credit to the influencers, then it's nothing too wrong with what's going on.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
So you began freestyling and battling and stuff like that before you took it serious. Now, aside from the rap battle that you did in the mall with Papa, what are some other locations in the area that you would like do rap battles and stuff?
Man, school, I got expelled for battling.
Oh shit, really? They expelled you for rap battling?
Yeah, I didn't get to go to my graduation.
Wow.
I got expelled the week before my graduation for rap battling. So that's probably to me, the most legendary and disappointing battle I've ever had.
Wow, that's so like was it specifically for rap battling? Was it for saying things in school? Like what did
It
they
was
say?
it was a rap battle between me and a Hispanic cat, and they
Okay.
basically were saying that when we battle, we both saying some fucked up shit. We weren't
Yeah,
saying nothing racist, but we were
of
just saying
course.
fucked up shit. You feel me?
Yeah, it's
So it's
it's
like
it's a different space, it's not as PC.
so they took it as like we were trying to. They took it as like a race riot type thing. Like, oh,
Mm.
because we were black and because I was black and he was Mexican, so it was like, oh, y'all trying to start a race riot, and it's like, nah, we just battling, and they just didn't understand the culture and what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
pretty much happened because a lot of when you start battling in school, just like when we was in the mall, like when you start battling, people come and it just like it grows and it grows. You know what I'm saying? And
Definitely.
it was lunchtime, so it was like a lot. It was like crazy. Like security couldn't even get through. It was like it was almost like a movie, almost. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, yeah. Um, no, that's funny. And now that you think about it, I had a friend of mine, not a serious musician or artist or anything, but back in high school, he made some, little SoundCloud songs and stuff like that. And I remember he said something about a kid at school on there, and like word had got around, and yeah, they like suspended him for a song he made outside of school. He wasn't even, he wasn't going around performing it at school, nothing. And we were all like, can they even do this shit? Like, it's crazy.
Man, we used to do that shit too, though. We used to do it, man. We used to be, man. We so was into it. Like that was like actually the best times of it because it was like it was just fun. We didn't care about people listening to it. We just was like making little tapes, you know what I'm saying, record shit and just pass it to all the homies in school and just hear them talk about it.
Yeah, you were mentioning earlier, like selling CDs and stuff. You were selling CDs at the warehouse, and the story of you, the freestyle battle at the mall and stuff like that. You were there selling CDs. Now I'm curious, like, were those some of your first CDs that you ever made and stuff?
That when we were selling those, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was like when we was like, yeah, that was like some of the first uh tapes. I think it was actually the same CD.
Okay, I gotcha.
We
Okay.
was really trying to get it out. Because back then it was like we was thinking of it like how other artists that we looked up to, they was like, yo, they sell it out the trunk, and then the record labels would come find them. So we was on that type of mentality, like, yo, we gonna sell it through the whole city, and then the record label's gonna have to come fuck with us.
Do
But
you
we didn't
think
really understand sound scan and shit like that because the people who was selling out the trunk, they knew sound scan, they knew all the shit. So it's like people could really track what was being sold. So like we might have sold, you know what I'm saying, what 20,000, but we ain't had no sound scan. So it's like people don't know we just selling CDs.
right? Do you think that with how technology has changed and everything like that, that going out and selling physical copies on the street, is that still, you think, a good way to get your music out?
Nah, it's actually annoying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was at a, concert the other day in Baltimore, and this guy was in line, and he was like, trying to like sell CDs and stuff like that. And it's like I was willing to hear him out, but it's like you could tell, it's like, yeah, a lot of people just kind of automatically gonna push you off and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, but back then, yeah, it's like it's kind of annoying now. But I think it's good to have physicals because now people treat music like a collector's item. You feel
Oh
me?
yeah,
So
yeah, especially the
physical
vinyl
is good for
records.
like people who fuck with you, fuck with you. If they fuck with you, they're gonna want the CD. They're gonna want to know who produced what, this, that, and the other. So I think the physical is making a comeback. But far as you just being on the corner and trying to sell it, nah, because you're gonna sell yourself short. Like the key, I think you just gotta go hard with this streaming shit. Just try to market yourself as hard as you can, promote yourself as hard as you can, get the streams up, and then once you got their ear, then you start to get the other stuff. You open them up to the physical copies. You open them up to T-shirts. You open them up to other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about, like I tell my boy all the time, like, yo, it's about finding your tribe. You got to find your tribe. Every artist has a tribe. And bands, they have a tribe. Like it's like, yo, this, like I fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they do, I fuck with it. So that's really what it's about.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like it's like you said, the physical copies are becoming collector's items now. Griselda's a perfect example of that. Like the West Side Gun vinyls. I know the album cover that like Virgil Abloh designed. That vinyl record's going for some money now if people got like unopened copies of it and stuff. And his fan base is definitely one of those ones. It's like you said, it's what was the word you used?
Find your tribe. Your
Yeah,
tribe.
yeah, yeah. The Griselda tribes definitely, you can tell they're big into the merch and stuff like that. And the Fashion Rebels is like almost its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's all about like it's about it's an exclusive feeling. People want to feel like they're a part of something that everybody can't be a part of. It's like a club, you know what I'm saying? And I feel
Yeah,
like people they want to be popular so bad that they kind of water down their branding and they water down the possibilities of what, you know what I'm saying, how big they could be without having to be big, if that makes sense. Like you can be way bigger without having to be big. Everybody wants to be. I want everybody to love me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's not gonna be fucking Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's
Yeah.
not good. You know, but you can still be big in your space and you know what I'm saying, with the people who fuck with you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they try to compare too much, you know. If you're trying to be like Bad Bunny, people be like, "I'm the next Bad Bunny." Like, nah, that's, that's the wrong way to look at it cuz, you know, A, you don't want to be in someone else's light for the rest of your life. And
Hmm.
also it's like you should be striving to do your own thing, you know. Me and
Hmm.
my buddy were talking about that, and we were also talking about, kind of how in our scene specifically, it's like people click up. It's like you said, it's like people want popularity, stuff like that. And we were specifically talking about how a lot of times, and I heard you talking about this on another podcast about how artists will harbor resources and stuff like that instead of giving them out. So maybe we could shift into that and stuff like that, because a lot of people, artists, bands, whatnot, when they get to a certain level, they almost stop associating with people that were below them at one point. Is that something that you see?
Hell yeah, they do that shit all the time. That shit corny. People are corny as fuck though. A lot of these people are really corny, and it's like they just get popular because of their music, and now they make it seem like they weren't never corny. You still a fucking corny dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still a fucking cornball. You just got good songs.
Yeah.
So, like, with me, it's like I don't do corny shit because I'm not fucking corny. So I feel like resources and shit, like, it's like, man, like, I've seen motherfuckers have a something that could they couldn't do nothing with it. Like, it will do nothing for them.
Right.
They won't give it to the next person.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And the next person could be they homie, they close homie, and they won't give it to their close homie because it's like, well, what if he blow up? I ain't gonna be able to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see that all the time. People want to eat off of other people, and they want to, you know what I'm saying, be a part of shit. That shit corny to me. To me, I just do my own thing. I let what's meant for me is for me, and my, and I definitely understand the click up shit. The click up shit, I used to be against it, but now I realize I understand what it's about. You feel me? It's like you need a team first of all,
Right.
and a lot of times it's like, you know people people are, you stronger in numbers for one, for sure. More numbers is better, but like, don't use your click to break down somebody else. You
Yeah.
feel me? Shut somebody else down. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Well, my
Yeah.
friend was referring to is basically, these cliques when they get together and stuff like that. At least in his eyes, because he's a musician. I just talk to musicians. He was telling me how, once these groups will click up, they tend to only really help each other. They're not, it's like you said, they could be helping people close to them, but they're harboring all the resources for each other and stuff like that. And I do get, it's like you said, there's reasons, there's positive things that can come from clicking up. You are stronger as a team, but the problem comes, I feel like, when you think you're too strong as a team, you know what I mean? And that, you don't need anybody else. I feel like,
Yeah,
because like
that's when
me,
you
for
go.
example,
Yeah.
when El Boogie reached out to me for this podcast, if I had, a different mindset, I would be like, I don't know this guy. You know what I mean? Why would I not do it? But it's like, I'm in no position to be denying any interview with, an artist and whatnot.
Hmm.
And, and I've had people say no to my podcast and whatnot. And, I hear things like, yeah, they think they're kind of big for their britches and whatnot. And it's like, you know what? That just means it's not meant for you at that time. And I think God kind of keeps you away from people when you need to.
No, that's a fact. And you should tell your boy that if he use that as fuel,
Yeah,
don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as fuel, so you know what to do when you get to that position. And I always try to stress that, don't let the actions of others change your actions. Still be you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a good, solid person that look out for people, keep that about yourself. Just because everybody else around you ain't like you, don't adapt to their way of doing things, because when your blessing comes, it's gonna be way bigger than anything they could do.
exactly. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. So we'll talk about some of your discography now. The oldest video I think I came across on the M-16 The Great YouTube channel is some songs back from 2013. It was
Mhm.
LAAH parts 1 and 2. What is the meaning of LAAH?
It's just lie. It's just like
La okay, okay.
yeah, I just like this. So when I did the first one, the sample just had lie in it, and I
I
was like,
gotcha.
that's hard. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, yo, I'm gonna just gas this shit.
Okay.
And at the time, I had just started like fucking with video, like doing videos and shit, and YouTube was like kind of being a thing type shit, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I was like fucking with the videos, trying to just get better at shooting videos for myself. And then when I did Live 2, it was another beat that had it. So I was like, shit, I'm gonna just make this Live 2 because it had a different live sample.
Okay.
And man, it was like when I dropped that one, a lot of it was so crazy, man. Because I remember I think I dropped it either New Year's Eve or New Year's. But when I dropped it, I just remember I dropped it, and a lot of people hit me up about it, and I ended up getting an investor. A lot of different opportunities came from just that video.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. It didn't work out, but I learned a lot from the experience. So yeah, with those two, it's just like they both are very pivotal for me. So I really appreciate Line. And I got Line 3. I'm gonna drop probably like next year.
Okay.
Some
Cool.
it's gonna be another visual. So
Hell yeah.
I'm just trying to do it.
what are some of the earliest tracks that people might not be able to find, including like what was the first song that you ever recorded and the first, project you ever put together?
Man, I couldn't. The first project I put together was called Underground Bully. It was
Okay.
like rapping to other people's beats. It might be on Bandcamp, or some of it might be on Bandcamp. Um, the first song ever recorded was like a freestyle, and I was like 13, I want to say, and I went to I just saved all my lunch money and got some studio time. I remember
Damn. How long did that take?
man, that shit took me like 6 months to save my
Whew,
money because the
damn.
studio was like $60 an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Now
I'll
that's
get like
dedication though. That's I
and I'll get like
applaud
20
that.
a week for lunch. Like I'll get like $20 a week. So I had to say that shit. And I remember I think I just only did like 2, maybe 3 hours.
Okay.
This freestyle some shit. The shit was trash. It was so trash, but I just like wanted to hear my voice and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to get that practice in. Everybody's got to suck at first.
That's the one thing about me, man. The one thing I appreciate about my journey, like I wasn't a natural. Like this shit did not come natural. I really had to work on this shit. Like even my recording, how I sounded as a recording artist. You know what I'm saying? Like it took a lot. Like I had natural talent as far as the rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Like the bars and shit, but far as the flow and all that shit, I had to grow into that and learn my voice and learn my style and how to deliver. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always a writer. I knew how to write, but to become an artist, it was a long journey.
Definitely, definitely. As far as like your real early discography and stuff like that, is there anything else that you wanted to go over? And like, where can people find some of your earliest work? Because I know not all of it's available everywhere.
Shit. Honestly, I don't even want them to listen to that shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather just listen to what they, you know what I'm saying, what they can find. I don't even want them to, because if they do dive and find it, I'm gonna be embarrassed as fuck. I rather just
I got you. Yeah, yeah.
fuck with
Um,
what's out, man. Now they know out right now.
yeah, definitely.
Side A, side B coming in September. So
Okay. Now, when I was doing my research and stuff like that, as I understand, when your daughter was born, that is really what gave you a lot of your drive and motivation at the time. And I
uh,
wanted you to talk about how easily you probably could have given up at the time and just, you know, went and got, something that was probably more reliable at the time,
uh,
and talk about why you're glad you didn't do that and why you stuck with music.
um, my real reasoning, because I always thought about like when she get older, and I'm telling her like, oh, you could do anything you want, you could be anything you want to be. And if she asks me like, oh, did you do what you wanted to do?
Hmm.
And I'll be like, no, because I had you, you know. I never wanted to have that conversation. So it was like, yeah, I knew I had to do what makes me happy and chase my dream so I could be an example. I feel like, in life, you have to lead, you have to show an example. You can't just tell people it's this way, this. You got to show. So, yeah, that's why I really got into it and dived into it more. And like you said, yeah, it could have been easy just to really like focus and get a good career job and this, that, and the other, and just take care of it. It could have been way easier. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't hard, but it could have been easier.
Yeah, but probably if you would have gone down that road, the happiness would definitely not be as good, I bet. That's the
Not
thing,
really.
a lot of people they sacrifice, long-term happiness for, short-term gain and things that really don't matter. And it's like I said, it's a very tricky thing because, you need money to live, you, everybody has to work in some facet. So
Hmm.
it's really finding where you fit in that's hard.
No, that's 100%.
And you had your son during the pandemic, right?
Yes, I did.
Now I've heard this phrase, come around a lot since the pandemic, where it's like pandemic child, pandemic kid, and stuff like that. Do you want to talk about maybe what it was
Pandemic
like
baby.
raising an infant, yeah, in the pandemic, and do you think that that had any impact on the early years and stuff?
It was very nerve like wrecking. Definitely, like you don't want them to get sick,
Oh yeah.
but I don't know. It seemed like everybody I knew who had a kid, these pandemic babies are different, man. They're resilient. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They're resilient. They're advanced. My son is super advanced. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he just different, man. He just different, man. He my dog. Like I feel like he been here before. But yeah, as far as the pandemic, raising a kid in the pandemic, it just regular life was scary. So you can only imagine trying to raise a kid in that. So
Right, right.
it was definitely a lot of stress, but we made it through.
Yeah, that's good. It's funny because it's like you said, they are built different. I saw a video of a pandemic baby, like a baby carrying like milk jugs, full milk jugs. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, they different. They built different. They whole little mentality is like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You also have a music video, 2005. It's on World Star Hip Hop. Now, I wanted to
Hmm.
talk about World Star Hip Hop because years
Hmm.
and years ago, it was like big, especially for the fights and stuff like that. Do you feel like it's still, as
Nope,
big of a deal as it was?
nope. Nah, I don't. I definitely don't think feel like it was as big as it was at all.
I
Feel like
gotcha.
I feel like it's I wish I wouldn't have spent that money.
Yeah, do you
I
feel
could have
like,
spent that money in a smarter and more lucrative way.
yeah, I gotcha.
It would have went a lot further, I think.
Yeah. And like speaking of music videos, I would say most of the ones that I came across, you work with Alpha Films, right? Do
Hmm.
you want to talk about working with them?
Man, Alpha Films, that's my dog, man. That's like my little bro. He just thinks outside the box, and he's able to pretty much bring your wildest thoughts to life the best way he can, and he's down for whatever in a way. You feel me? As far as creatively, he's down like fuck it, let's try it. If it works, it works. If it don't, we tried it. And I just feel like he just hungry, man. He just like he one of them people that I like. I feel like he's gonna go down like a Christopher Nolan in the film world in
Mm,
the long run. You know what I'm saying? He's very
yeah.
his eye and his thought process with filmmaking is, videos is just the beginning of what he's going to bring and offer the world. But I know that as a filmmaker, he's definitely going to be a legend.
Hell yeah. So now is where we'll get into the injury that you were talking about. Now, April
Hmm.
Fools of this year, you kind of made a comeback from that. You dropped a song called Break a Leg.
Hmm.
Now, that's quite literally a reference to the injury. Now, tell me if this is the correct way to describe it. You were performing at a show, you tried to hop into the crowd, landed wrong, broke your leg, right? That's essentially what happened.
Not hopping to the crowd, but yeah.
Right. Um,
So
so how long ago was that now? The
it
actual
was a,
performance?
it was a year ago. It was July. I want to say July 16th when it happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much it was like we was performing and like it was like a how do I explain? It was like a market, like you know
Yeah.
when like a market night, I guess you would say, but it was during the day.
Yeah, little
So it was-
community event and whatnot.
yeah, yeah, it was a lot of people there, but they were all like far back,
Right.
and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get them to come in." You feel me? So I was like, "Look, I'm gonna when they see my big ass jump off this stage, they're gonna be like, oh shit,' and they're gonna they're gonna come and they're gonna fuck with it." And obviously, it didn't pan out the way I thought it was gonna pan out. I landed wrong. I heard a pop, and I hit the ground like a sack of potatoes, to be honest.
Yeah. What were your feelings before, during, and after performing?
Before doing it, I was feeling like, man, I'm about to shut this shit down. Um, After it, I was like, oh fuck this shit. Like I fucked up. Like I fucked up. And yeah, yeah. Well, during it, I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm killing this shit. Then when I landed, I'm like, man, I fucked up, man.
Oh man.
Shit is all bad. It's over. I'm gonna take it as a sign. This shit ain't for me. I'm not doing it. I give up. Yeah. So I was really on that. That mentally was my thought process. It was like, all right, I give up. I'm done.
Yeah. What was the full extent of the injury? Like when you went to the hospital, like what did they tell you happened, your diagnosis and all that, and like the process of
Oh,
healing as well?
man, I don't remember the exact, but it was like pretty much two two bones pretty much collided and tore something. And they like when they collided into each other, they tore like a joint or something like that.
Ah,
And then I just had in the process was like almost like 6 months just laying down. You know what I'm saying? Staying on my back.
mm.
Had the cast, had the these little bars in my leg. It was a lot of different shit. Had to learn how to pretty much walk again, things of that nature, how to bend my leg
That's
correctly.
yeah, that sounds like a lot. What were some struggles that maybe people don't see and or maybe you feel like go unnoticed when someone like really injures himself like that?
If you're a man, if you're like a man or head of a household or like a provider, just not being able to do certain things, like even thinking about, being in the position you is, what if somebody break into your home? You can't even do anything to protect them. I would have nightmares of like somebody breaking into my home,
Damn.
taking advantage of my family, and I can't even move. So there's a lot of different mental things that, you go into when you're a certain caliber of a person
Right.
and you go through this and you don't have any control because that's pretty much what it is. You don't have any control of anything. Like whatever happens at this point is like you have to wait on other people to do shit for you. You know what I'm saying? You're just not in control of your life and your body, and then you just have to figure out. You just got to be in control of your mind. Your mind is either your best friend or your worst enemy. So once
Definitely.
you once you gain control of your mental, you don't give a fuck about your body because
Yeah,
when you realize the body is weak but the mind is everything. So I just had to really tap into my mental state. So when my mental got to where I needed it to be, I knew when I came back, regardless of what happened, when I come back, shit is gonna be different. I'm about to fuck shit up, and that's just where I'm at. That's just a mentality.
nice. Now, what other mindset shifts have you had since the injury and or since you've healed, I should say, have you made any different changes to your lifestyle, anything like that? What's been like major changes that have come from the injury?
Um, what's come to them? Well, I don't do nothing fast. I take my time with everything. I don't rush nothing. um,
That's important, I feel like, not just physically, but like in general. It's like when you rush things, I feel like you make mistakes, things like that. And I think once you stop rushing everything, you know, ev- the noise almost goes down, that noise in your head and whatnot.
yeah, because motherfuckers be thinking they missing something that really they ain't you ain't missing shit. You be rush, 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 rush because you think you missing. You're not missing nothing. That shit gonna be there.
Yeah, when you sit back and actually take the time to observe, you see a lot more actually.
Hell yeah. Um, that and just just being a more positive. I always been a glass half full person, but just really diving on that. Not doing nothing I don't want to do. I don't waste my time on things that I don't want to waste my time on. I don't care how it offends or makes people feel because I was alone. I had to deal with certain shit on my own. So it's like I just do what I feel, fulfills me.
Definitely, time is a lot more valuable than pretty much anything. Time's kind of the most valuable currency.
Hell
We
yeah.
even like when it comes to money, we base a lot of money things on how much time and is put into it.
Hmm.
What were your thoughts, on the video kind of getting viral and whatnot? Were there any feelings of embarrassment at first, or did you kind of have the mindset the whole time of like all press is good press? This is just going to bring more attention to the music and whatnot.
It was a shock. The first time it went viral, it was like, what? Because it's like people do shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? People hurt
Yeah,
themselves all the time. So it's like, what the fuck? How did this happen? And that was pretty much the energy. It was just a shock. But it was like, I embrace it. I embrace everything. Like you said, all press is good press. So it's like beyond the shock, I just embraced it and it was like it is what it is. Like I know what I signed up for. If you try to be in this music business and this entertainment industry, it's like nothing's off limits. So
yeah.
you can't sit here and pout and cry and be like, "Why are they talking about me?" I'm just a person that don't respond to comments. I don't even read comments. So like when people approach me with shit like, "Oh, did you see this?" Like, no, I literally don't read none of that shit. I don't care because that's how you fuck your head up and you start believing what the fuck people are saying and feeling the type of way. Like it's a joke. Like they don't know me. Half of the people don't know me, and the other half, like if they were in my face, they wouldn't say the stuff that they said on there. So I
Yeah,
don't even.
exactly. And in fact, they would probably, they'd be kissing your ass talking about, "Oh man, I really fuck with what you do, dog."
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I can't. I take that shit with a grain of salt, man. I don't trip off of none of that.
Absolutely. I was curious, are you familiar with, first of all, do you know who Tom Segura is, the comedian?
No.
All right, so he's a comedian. He's actually, I believe, I don't know if he's from California, but I know he's based out in California, his career and whatnot. So if you just go onto YouTube when we're done and you type in Tom Segura slam dunk will probably come up as you type his name. Now, this is something that happened that got very, very viral. Now, Tom Segura is one of the biggest touring comedians in America. He and his friend Bert Kreischer, they were doing a slam dunk contest. They were doing this whole like basketball competition thing. Tom Segura went for a slam dunk. He jumped, immediately fell straight to the ground. He landed, tore his patellar tendon, and broke his arm at the same time. And that video went insanely viral. And I was just curious if you had heard about it because it's sort of like a similar, situation to what had happened with you. And, it got him all sorts of good press and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just looked it up right now. Ye- Yeah, it didn't happen like that for me because a lot of people. It's so funny that a lot of people were saying it's other people. A lot of people didn't really know who the person was. So
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the things, but I I don't want my biggest thing is like, yo, I gotta keep making music. I gotta move past that. So that's not all that people know me for.
Right. Yeah.
Like you
Uh,
said about the time, it's like before anything, it's like he was one of the biggest touring you know what I'm saying, medians,
yeah. Yeah.
that was just a little blemish on his reputation, but
Oh,
he
of
was
course, yeah. But it's, it's one of those things though that like it's definitely a part of his like reputation
his
now.
story, yeah, his
Yeah,
story.
his friend Bert even got a custom New Era hat and it was stitched. It was literally like custom stitched. It was him in the position that he fell in. It was like it's just crazy. They kept it going and whatnot. But yeah, no, man, like I feel like if they were to see that clip on YMH Studios, they would probably like that would go crazy viral too. Is like him reacting to, you know what I mean, your
Yeah.
scenario. Um, Kind of the last thing related to this is I just wanted you to talk about having that good mindset during, trials and tribulations and also, being able to like get rich off your pain, coming with that break a leg song.
Hmm. Oh, what's the question? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Basically, just talk about having that good mindset,
Oh
Instead of
yeah.
moping about it, you made a song about it. You're making sure that your pain helps you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. You just gotta like take it. When life give you lemons, make fucking lemonade. You can't be crying about that shit. You got to take that shit and use that shit as ammo for the next phase, for the next stage of where you're trying to take it. If you really trying to take it there, everybody else be like, a lot of people were like, "Man, you're over. You think this is over?" I'm like, I thought I was over before that shit even went viral. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like once it went viral, I took it the complete opposite. I took it like, oh shit, okay, maybe I should keep going.
Nice.
Most people took it like, oh, you should give up now. I'm like, nah, it went viral. I need to keep going. Maybe I am on the right path. Maybe God is saying, nah, don't give up. Keep going. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, and as terrible as like breaking your leg like that is, it's like, do you sometimes wonder if it was like kind of meant to be in a way?
It definitely was. That whole thing was meant to be because at that time I was just moving. I was doing a lot of moving. I was doing shows, this, that, and the other. But I didn't have no fucking direction. I didn't have a
Mhm.
plan. I didn't have intention. All I was doing was just doing shit just to do shit. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm more intentional with where I want to go. Even doing this interview, I was like, yo, if I'm gonna do an interview, I want to do it with someone that's not in California. So it's like just expanding my brand, expanding at my vision. So it's like if I didn't have that moment to sit down, sit my ass still and really think, I wouldn't even been able to create the things I create. I wouldn't have been able to come up with break your leg and make, you know what I'm saying, a video about it and overcome these, you know what I'm saying? I needed
Yeah,
all those different things. So yeah, it was meant to happen. I appreciate it.
yeah. Um, let's see. Now, I saw that you did a short mini documentary a bit
Mhm.
ago called "Move Silent, Blow Loud." You also have some songs called that. I was curious. By the way, everybody go watch the "Move Silent, Blow Loud" mini documentary on YouTube. You'll be able to find out some more about him and other artists and whatnot. I was
It was a good
curious.
documentary. Yeah. What you think?
Definitely. Do you plan to do another documentary in the future in regards to the injury and whatnot, and just everything else that you've done since then?
That's actually a good idea. Huh? That's actually a great idea. Maybe I should. I didn't think about it. I gotta talk to El Boogie about it.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Um, and the first show that you've done since the injury was at the UFO Lounge in Pomona, right?
Pomona, yeah.
Yeah, Pomona. So do you have a history of doing shows at that venue?
Yeah. I did something for them like maybe right before I got hurt.
Okay.
It was pretty lit. I did that right before I got injured. And the night that I got injured, I was supposed to headline their event that night. And
Ah,
when I got hurt, I wasn't able to show up. So that's why the first show coming back, I did that.
okay, nice. And were they like pretty cool about like holding your spot and whatnot for a future, slot and whatnot?
Man, they were so excited because of all the shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah,
already fucked with me, but now I'm me virally. So it's like, yo, let's do it.
yeah. What are some other important, like smaller venues in your area as well as the greater Cali area that are important to, up and coming artists and whatnot?
Great venues. I don't know, man. I
Even
don't.
like even little bars, any place that
Yeah,
artists go to.
it's like it's not. It's so many different. You know what I'm saying? It's really
Yeah,
hard to target which one because it's so many different spots. But and I've really been out the loop, so I can't even tell you.
I gotcha.
But it's some
So
good one.
yeah, like you said, you just released an EP called Now They Know. It's
Mhm.
taking you on, or it's taking the listener on a journey of where you currently stand. It's filled with, hunger and desire for your love of music and whatnot. Do you want to talk about like what some of the songs on there are about?
Yeah, man. Now you know. It's just basically like you have a song called "How Bad," which basically represents how bad do you want it. You gonna overcome whatever you go through to make it happen for yourself. Do you really want to make this shit happen, or are you just talking about it? I got Juicy basically remaking the classic by Biggie and just making it for the ladies more so. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
the cover is inspired by Ready to Die, right?
Yes, exactly. So the whole project, the reason why it's called Now You Know is basically off the when Biggie said, "If you don't know, now you know."
Yeah,
Basically inspired by that whole energy. So I just always wanted to pay homage. I like he did so much for me as a coming up, wanting to be a rapper that I always wanted to pay homage, and this is the best way I knew how to pay homage at this point in my life.
I gotcha. Now you also collaborated with G Perico on there, right? Was on Summer
Yeah.
Dreams.
Hmm.
Yeah, talk about that because he's one of the bigger Cali artists that I've gotten familiar with as of recently
Yeah,
and
man.
whatnot.
Man, it was real simple, man. You sent somebody the record, like, yo, man, I hear you on this, and he sent it back, and yeah, it was just real simple. We ain't really, we linked up one time, but we ain't really like chill or nothing
I
epic.
got you.
I sent him the record, like, yo, I hear you on this. He was like, yo, all right, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, he told me the price. I paid him, woo woo woo, and then we went from there. But the next step is just shooting the video for it.
Hell yeah, that would be dope.
Hell yeah.
What other West Coast artists do you think are killing it? And also, who else would you like to work with in your local area and whatnot in the surrounding areas?
As far as West Coast artists that's killing it, man, Kendrick, maybe King,
Hell yeah,
um, Schoolboy Q.
classic.
Man, I can't really think. Tyler the Creator, he always kills it.
Hell yeah. Do you like his
Nickel.
newer stuff as well? You know, the stuff
Hell
that's
yeah.
gone away from the rap.
Yeah, I love all his shit. I feel like he definitely a creator. Like he has the perfect name. He's a person that's always creative and
Definitely.
innovative in whatever he creates. Vince
Absolutely.
Staples, yeah, that's kind of it right now when I think about it. G Perico, uh
Were you into a Shoreline Mafia when they were out?
I did a couple shows with them too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I fucked with him. I still fuck with OGZ. I fuck with OGZ. He hard.
Hell yeah.
I fuck with Blue Buzz Clan. I don't know if you know who that is.
I have heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with them. It's
Rest
it's
in
a
peace
lot
to
of
Draco the Ruler too.
yeah. Draco. I forgot. Damn, I almost slipped. Draco, Nit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hell yeah.
but yeah, man. That's yeah, man. That's legendary shit. There's a lot of different artists I would want to work with that I will. But now I want to work. It's a lot of different artists I'm going to work with eventually. It's just about
Yeah,
time. It's just about the timing, and just keep pushing my branding forward to get to those positions.
definitely. I wanted you to talk quickly about one of your other newer singles called Fucked Up.
Hmm.
Yeah, just kind of talk about what that's about.
It's basically inspired by so the song samples a song off of Biggie's album. It's called I Don't Want to Live No More, right? No, it's called Everyday Struggle. This is on Biggie's Ready to Die. It's called Everyday Struggle. And he said on the song, "Do you know what it's like to wake up fucked up? Pockets broke as hell with another rock to sell."
Hmm.
When I first heard that long line as a kid, I was like, damn, that's hard. As a kid thinking that. So when I heard this beat with the sample, I was like, I'm gonna name this shit fucked up because that line was so pivotal for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like basically,
he had a
huh?
real powerful kind of emotional side too, like with suicidal thoughts. That song,
Yeah, all type of yeah,
every line on that is, it hits the heart,
yeah. Yeah, so like basically with fucked up, I just basically like kind of took off of where he already started with the original, and then basically talked about what's going on in the community around the world, just what's going on in that where it could be relatable to everybody because shit is fucked up. People not getting, not having money, being able to take care of their family, just things of that nature. So yeah.
I gotcha now. And then I think it's the most recent video is the Juneteenth freestyle, right?
Yeah, me and my
Um,
boy Scoop Hamilton.
Hell yeah. So and I've seen like on SoundCloud and stuff like that. You got a lot of other freestyles where you've rapped over famous beats and whatnot. How often are you freestyling and like how long did it take for you to really develop the good skills of it?
Man, that's how it started. It started with the freestyle. So I've been freestyling for a minute.
Right.
I don't drop as many as I should. I want to do another one to some shit that I like. I think I need to drop a tape with some more freestyles to other people's beats, to be honest, because nobody else is doing that right now. So I feel like fuck it, I should jump on that. But yeah, with freestyles, man, it just usually just flow out of me. I don't really think about it too much, so it don't take too much time because I don't think about it. I just say whatever. So sometimes it could be sounding off the wall. People like, "Why the fuck you said this or said that?" But that's what a freestyle is, to be honest.
I gotcha. And then when it comes to Cash on Demand Music Group, am I correct that you're like the CEO of that?
Yes, I'm the CEO for sure.
When did the idea come to fruition? And like, when did it actually happen that the music group started and whatnot? And if you want to talk about like the early founding days of that.
Man, so look, I was driving home from I was driving home from handling some business, and it's a phrase. COD is a phrase that we use.
Right.
So I was like, man, COD, and I was like, it's usually cash on delivery, but I was like, I'm gonna call that shit cash on demand. And then I was like, man, that's gonna be my label, and that's just pretty much how it goes. Smoking weed, driving home, thinking about shit, and it's like, yo, I'm gonna call my shit cash on demand. And I think that was like I want to say 2017, maybe, or maybe 2016. I don't know.
Okay.
It was around that time. And then from then, I tried it. I tried to partner with somebody the first time. It didn't work out. Boom. Partner with somebody else second time. It didn't work out. Boom. So now I'm doing it again on my own. I'm just gonna have people help me, assist me instead of partnering. Because I feel like a lot of times you partner with people, you got to realize like they got to be just as passionate. A lot of
Yeah.
times people at first is passionate because it makes sense. They're like, oh, it's gonna be successful, but they don't understand that this shit don't happen overnight. So then
No.
when 6 months come, when a year come, and they don't have $1 million, they're like, this shit ain't working. And it's like, what the fuck you thought this shit was like?
And they don't
And
realize that, they think about how it feels after a year. How do you
yeah,
think it feels after 5 years, 10 years? It's like you really got to be built for the patience.
no, no, yeah, for real. That's really what it is. It's like they not built for it. They just thinking about the money aspect, and it's like with music, it's probably gonna be 10 years before you even see any money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to realize, and with anything, it probably take a long time for you to see. And there's money, but like the money that they're looking for,
Yeah.
it takes years before you obtain that. You know what I'm saying? That shit doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about how you can't expect people to lose sleep over you and whatnot until you get to a certain level. And I feel like you have to lose sleep yourself. You got
Hmm.
to spend the time, staying up late, whether it's going to
Hmm.
a show, editing your music, recording. You got to lose sleep for people to be willing to lose their sleep over you to go see you.
That's 100%.
Yeah. So who currently is under the group aside from yourself, and like who has the group worked with in the past?
Right now we got Scoop Ellington, Ty Malik. Um, we got Scoop Ellington, Ty Malik, Callie Stacks. We also help do management work with Yardell Mimi and assist her. We assist another artist by the name of Tea Time and assist a R&B singer by the name of Slim. Oh,
All
as well
right.
as my man Joey Bones when he gets home. We have Joey Bones. I'm sorry, I don't know how he just slipped my mind. So when he gets home, we definitely are gonna be 100,
Hell yeah.
miles behind with him.
Definitely. What direction are you looking to go with Cash on Demand? And what do you think is wrong with a lot of the other rap labels and groups that exist? How do you plan to be different?
I think with other rap labels, they just people are just lazy, man. To be honest, they don't want to put the effort and the time in to make the shit work for them. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
make this shit like, they're not really trying to sacrifice like they need to. And I feel like what we bring that other art labels don't bring, I feel like we're the hungriest. We'll be the hungriest label in the game.
Mm.
Nobody's gonna be hungrier than us. Nobody's gonna work as hard as us. Period. And we're not gonna allow them to. We're gonna outwork everybody.
Hell yeah.
And we're gonna create the perfect relationships. Because it's really about relationships, man. People don't build relationships. Like even this right here, like this is a relationship that we're building and we're forming.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I was just about to say this whole podcast. That's why I love what I do, because basically all I do is relationship building.
yeah,
I go to shows, I meet different bands and stuff like that, and then I talk to them about what they do. I've been able to learn a lot, just about behind the scenes of the music scene and stuff like that. And you're right, it's important, and that's where a lot of people I feel like don't see success because they're not out there building those relationships. They think it's all going to happen, without anybody else. It's like you said, other people, teams. It's very important.
no, that's 100. Yeah, you got to build those relationships. That's the most important.
Definitely.
Right.
I was curious if you've been keeping up with the could have been records with Drewski, because he's been putting out a lot of funny like skits and shit like that.
He actually posted the video recently. He actually posted my video when I
Oh
said,
shit.
yeah. So, but yeah, I love Drewski, man. He's fucking hilarious.
Hell yeah.
I watch it
Um
every day.
that was pretty much all I had. If you want to tell the people when some new songs are going to be coming out, some new projects, if you have any upcoming shows, and then just shout out anybody you want to before we get out of
Man,
here.
yeah. So pretty much, like I said, now they know out right now. Side A, side B coming in September. Um, Dope Sells Itself is our compilation where you can hear all the artists on Cash on Demand.
Okay, cool,
That's
cool.
out now, available everywhere. Just look up Cash on Demand Music Group on all your streaming platforms and Dope Self Volume 1. And yeah, man, we got Scoop Ellington dropping something soon, Tom Lee dropping something soon, Cali dropping something soon. So we just getting shit together for this year and next year and just getting shit together. Shout out to El Boogie. You know what I'm saying? She working
Definitely.
hard behind the scenes to make shit happen. And besides that, man, ain't really nothing too much. Now they know out now.
Absolutely, man. I want to thank you for coming on my platform.
Thank you for
Um,
having me. Thank you for having me.
absolutely. If there's anything else, I guess we'll end it, man.
Any to promote, as far as I can promote it and get people, tapped in.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm gonna post a little clip and stuff like that when it's all ready. I'll probably try to get this out pretty soon, since normally what I do is like in person when I do them, we'll take a picture and then I'll post the picture. But since we're doing it online, I'll probably get this out pretty quickly, and you'll see me post. I'll tag you, stuff like that.
For sure. And then definitely when soon I'm gonna keep in touch with you, man. So for when my boy Joy Bones comes, I'll fly out there and we can do the interview all together type shit.
Hell yeah, that sounds good, man.
I appreciate you, bro. I love the questions you asked me, man. I had a
Hell yeah,
blast.
I appreciate that. I do try to take the time to research my guests, make sure I'm not asking no bogus shit, because I feel like it can get repetitive and people don't do their research, and they kind of look like fools sometimes.
No, facts, facts. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah, man.